I want to say is you might want to look at my video that says, what's the title? The title is, I was told my soul is a science experiment. And listen to that one and then listen to this one. But this one has something to do within that 2-week time period. I'm going to focus on creation visiting me, and then also like the whole process that I went through, which is just sounds crazy. I mean, I couldn't make this stuff up. I believe it was a spiritual thing that happened, and I pray that it had something to do with being a believer of God in Jesus' name. But if it isn't, then I recant it all, and I don't want nothing to do with it, and God knows, like, I'm only for Him and Jesus. So anyway, now that I said all that, what happened is that, and I'm doing this to document it. What happened is in 2023, I was like living pretty much normal, and then all of a sudden, like one day, I had a voice that was external of me, but internally I heard it speak and say that, and tell me that my soul was a science experiment soul, like when it was created, and that I know it's like above my pay grade or pay scale or even trying to understand or comprehend it. But this is what happened to me, and it told me that, and I had like a 2-week mind bender go on, and that's why I'm saying you might want to listen to my other video if you haven't yet. But anyway, so in that other video, I mentioned about creation visiting me, like words visited me that were like of everything's existence, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't like, oh, the word creation popped in my head or it was a thought. It was an actual entity that identified itself as creation to me. And like a couple days into the 2 weeks is when this experience happened. It's all bits and pieces to me, so I'm doing my best to remember so I can document it and have it on my channel. I've been asking Google and AI, that is, and it's saying that, it's never really heard of anything like this before. It's a mixture of stuff, so I don't know what to say, except I'm not lying. I didn't make this stuff up. I lived it. But after that entity's voice telling me that my soul is a science experiment soul when it was created, it led me into this exhaling my oxygen out of my lungs thing. Like days later, it was like I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden it was like creation appeared to me, not physically or seeing it or anything. Another external voice that was internal speaking to me, and it didn't talk to me fluently or anything. It was like it was there for an appointed time to do work, and and then it was going to leave. That's like what I understood without me understanding it. And I participated in this, and by like doing what the scientist entity voice was telling me to do. And basically what I was going on is that I was being led by that voice, the scientific entity voice, to exhale and deplete my oxygen out of my body as much as possible. And it wasn't like I had a choice to stop. What I mean by is like I couldn't just exhale and say, okay, I'm good. It was like literally pushing all the oxygen you possibly can out of your lungs, or your body, that is. And then once I achieved that level, which was very difficult to do, it was like that voice would say, "You're almost there." As I was doing it, and like it was like this. I'm gonna exhale right now. I don't know if that was picked up, but you see how like I'm struggling to get all the air out of my lungs? I was doing that, and as I was doing that, that voice was saying, "You're almost there, you're almost there," like encouraging me to keep going. So I did, and then finally he says, "You did it," and then I'd stop and I'd go for air, and then all of a sudden the creation entity that was there for its reasons would be like telling me in my mind internally that I just received a gift of being able to hear or talk to animals. And then, then from there, it was like I did it again because it told me to. And the entity, scientist entity, I call it, because I don't know, he's the one that told me what was going on with my soul. I didn't know, this is like spirituality stuff, but the thing is this spirituality stuff ain't in the Bible, so, it makes me wonder, like, what was really going on now. But anyway, Jesus died on the cross for my sins. I'm forgiven by him. I'm always going to be a sinner. And like I said, I participated in this. But the thing is that, if it isn't of God, then I denounce it all in Jesus' name. And God can do anything because he oversees everything. So, but the fact that this thing told me that my soul was a scientific experiment, I didn't know what to think because, first of all, I'm hearing a voice talk to me, which isn't normal. So I'm just going with the flow of things because, obviously this is all out of my hands as far as, like, who's in charge. I have free will, but obviously, I went along with it, and I did it probably like 5-7 times. And some of the times that I did it, like when he was telling me to keep going, I didn't keep going because I couldn't. I had to get air, at least I believed I did. And what do you call it? And then creation would go, no, no, no. Like every time I did it, it was like you're going to get a gift, and if you didn't do it right, then you're not going to get that gift. And it's not like he's trying to keep installing a bunch of gifts into you until you get your breathing right. It was like you do it right, you get it. If you don't, then oh well, you miss out on that one. That's how it was. It was wild, man. Like I said, I've been Googling AI, Gemini on Google, that is, and it talks about spiritual stuff, and obviously it looks up like articles and things like that to try and give you a higher understanding to the questions you ask it. And I'm sort of hitting a wall with this because it's not saying anything like in specific that what I encountered or I lived through, I should say. Like I said, this happened within a 2-week time period. Creation, like, visited me, saying, and then the other entity visited me, and like in that 2-week process, like my soul spoke out too, like a voice that was internal came from my stomach body area, and I heard it in my mind, but I knew where the source of it came from, and it came from my body, so I assume that's my soul, and it spoke out against this entity voice that was trying to guide me. And in that process, not during that time of the process, my soul was quiet, but there was other times throughout the 2 weeks where my soul responded instead of me consciously responding to like conversation. And I wish I could remember like what it was that triggered my soul to speak, but I can't remember. But I do remember when my soul spoke out, it was cocky, like it was like me. It was a version of me. I knew it was me, but it was like it had a cocky attitude towards the entity, the scientist entity thing. So it's like basically, it was explained to me when I was told I was a scientist, a scientific soul experiment. It was like supposedly like, I live a normal soul life, and then all of a sudden I hit a certain age, I guess, which would have been 2023. And then all of a sudden, it was like it was timed out, my soul, to unlock into this experiment thing or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how to word it exactly, and I can't comprehend this stuff. But it happened to me, man. All I can say is, like, everything that I've uploaded on this channel is true testimonies, and this is another one that happened to me. This one, I'm just decided to start trying to like remember this stuff because the older you get, you forget things. But I'll never forget the core details of it. And like AI said, like when you go through spiritual stuff like that, that supposedly your brain like locks out stuff even though it might be imprinted on your soul. So I don't know what that means either exactly. I'm not that kind of scientist guy, but this happened in my life. I'm documenting it for myself, and I'm sharing it too by documenting it through YouTube channel. So if you came across this and you think this is wild, yeah, I know, I think it's wild too. I don't know what to say, except I lived it. That's why I'm talking about it. I'm going to pause it because I'm not trying to think something as far as like my memory. Yeah, and after I did it 5 to 7 times, I forgot about this part, so I'm glad I paused it. But like after 5, 7 times, I stopped doing it. Like I could have kept going, but I was like, as far as doing it again, and then I stopped, like in my own free will, and I'm like questioning it finally. After I did it like 5, 7 times, I was like, why am I doing this? What's going on? Like, who is this? What is this? I started to question that, well, like, what was going on with me with this, because I never had this experience manifest in my life. I've never heard of anybody else have these kind of problems, or have anything manifest, I should say, in their life like this. But I stopped in my own free will, and I decided, I better not do this because I don't know what I'm doing. And and the crazy part is at the end of the 2 weeks, I had in my mind an acknowledgement ceremony go off where I listened to a narrator talk about the things that I achieved in that 2 weeks. And that's how it all ended. And once it ended, even though I was in the hospital and I got shipped, I was normal again. And it was a 2 week thing, man. And like I said in the other video, I talk about the other things that I experienced that were just wild, and I'm trying to break down now that I made that one video. I'm trying to like dive deeper into like the topics I brought up individually by recording them the best I can, in memory, that is. So yeah, I stopped on my free will. I stopped with using my free will, and and then it never came back. Like creation was gone. So I think that's absolutely wild, man. All I know is I know for a fact there's a spiritual realm. I just don't know anything about it, you know what I mean, except for what I learned through the Bible stuff, and that's angels or demons, and I don't know what the heck I was dealing with. I mean, I was dealing with creation, and being told my soul is a science experiment, so, like, when it was built. So I have no idea, man, but, like, the gifts that creation gave me was, like I said, saying I could, like, hear animals speak or talk to them. And another one was something about my longevity of life, like I was gonna live like 1,000 years or something like that, and it all had to do with like the next Earth, planet Earth that would be built after this one's destroyed. I guess, I don't know. Like I said, this is all, I don't understand it, but it all happened. So I'm documenting it, and I'm gonna pause it again to think if I can remember anything else. I can't honestly think of anything else right now, but so I got, I guess, everything down that I can. By me doing this, I'm hoping things will like manifest and resurface to my brain and my consciousness so that I can actually like remember more. But I mean, I think I covered pretty much all of it. The only other way I could do it is to like direct a movie script or something and like see it play out and act out or something, with AI computer technology and actors or whatever. But, like I said, it's that wild to me. It's like a movie. It should be in a movie, I guess. But anyway, that's about it for me documenting the creation and that entity speaking to me like a guide. Oh, the other thing is when my soul spoke out at it, it was like it was a worker. Like imagine a worker telling you that your soul is a scientific experiment, and then your soul speaks out at it. And like for me, I was shocked. I've never had anything like that experience in my life, let alone any of the other experiences in this video. And my soul spoke out in that 2 weeks at it, and then it was like all of a sudden I was dealing with a different entity that was still of this like it was like the scientist that created me. My soul was like speaking to its project, except it was a worker of that scientist that was dealing with me, and then my soul speaks out at the worker. So now it's like the worker tells the supervisor, and then the supervisor deals with that soul, which is mine, and then my soul speaks out at the supervisor, and then from there it's like the supervisor tells his boss, and then that boss shows up, and then my soul speaks out at it. And it was like I was going up this chain of command, man, that was just wild. It was like making everybody freak out or something, because like the experiment was to study it and see how it evolves or reacts. And like I got tested out, man. It was wild. Like to have my mind think this way now because of these experiences I had. It's just different. It's like I don't dwell or think about it daily at all, to be honest. I just recently started to try and remember, and it's been like 3 years, so it's like I've been trying to remember these things and put it in audio at least so I don't forget them, because it was just a wild experience, man. What it means, I have no idea. Why it happened, I have no idea. Then the only thing I can remember the most is that it was a science experiment on my soul. So I don't know what that means, man. Like, am I being prepped for the next Earth age after Revelations completes, and I go to heaven, and I live out what the Bible says, and then a new Earth is rebuilt, and then God starts all over again with a new planet Earth? I have no idea. Like I said, this is where my mind wanders like completely, because I have no answers to it. And that's what's wild to me, because I can't talk to people about it because they don't understand. I can't expect people to understand any of this stuff. That's why I'm audio recording it, man, because it's like it's that wild. It's like, what else can you do to get it out of you, It's nuts. But anyway, that's about it, I guess, on creation and that entity thing. Should be made into a movie, the stuff, but anyway, it really happened in my life. In Jesus' name, it's the truth out of me.